Well, I was a huge reader as a child. My parents were both teachers, and my dad was an English teacher. My mum was an artist, and so for us, I remember looking around, and a lot of the kids where I grew up were IBM families, and they all had all the latest technology, and they all went on these amazing holidays to Orlando, and we weren't doing any of that stuff, but we did have, you know, endless art materials in the house and endless numbers of books, and that was something that was that we took for granted. So books and reading were always part of my backdrop, my
Mhm.
backdrop, and I loved beautiful picture books. You know, remember all of the fairy books, the red fairy,
Oh, the
blue fairy
Fairfield
book.
one.
Um, you know, those illustrated books were the thing
Mm.
that really got me into books, I suppose, into reading initially. And at primary school, we had the Rainbow Reading Scheme, and I can remember romping through it because the reward was if you got to the end of the scheme before you left primary school, you then had the run of the library. You could choose whatever you wanted, and so
Ah.
so for me, the goal really was to get through this reading scheme so I could access,
Mm.
what was available to the good readers. Um, so for me, the stories then, as I became an independent reader, that I loved were the stories of escape. You know, those stories where children escape into their own world. So I loved The Enchanted Castle by E. Nesbit.
Oh yes.
It's set in this wonderful setting where the statues come to life and the
Mm.
children have these adventures that are never under the gaze of the adults. You know, the adults virtually disappear.
Yeah, this is
you
often
open
the
the book.
case in children's books, isn't it?
Yeah, which is the wonderful thing.
Grown
But
up.
done with such, and these felt like quite weighty books as well. You know, things
Mm.
like Secret Garden, they feel much more kind of heavyweight
Mm.
once you become an independent reader. And I also loved rhyme and rhythm. So from the earliest stage, I loved the Dr. Seuss books.
Oh yes.
Anything that had that kind of sense of rhythm, that kind of iambic pentameter that
Yes.
children love engaging in. And I love nonsense verse, so Edward Lear and Spike Milligan. In
Yeah.
fact, I've got a couple here from very long ago that I still got. Actually, these are childhood.
Oh, lovely.
This
That's
is
gorgeous.
a book of Milliganimals by Spike Milligan. And I
Oh.
loved this book. So well, obviously so much. So look how yellowed it is inside.
That's fabulous.
And it's got these wonderful animals drawn by Spike Milligan, and they're very silly and very funny.
Mm.
Really funny, not talking down at all,
No.
just rather ridiculous and appealing to a child. Um, and I suppose I used to get quite sort of. I think children are quite obsessive, aren't they?
Mm.
I would find a favourite, and we had a library. Our library was at the end of our road, and so I spent a huge amount of my childhood in the library, and I would go and take out the same book again and again and again. That comforting thing, I think,
Mm. Yeah.
when you don't mind knowing what happens next because that's all part of the kind of
Yeah.
soothing process of reading. So
Yeah.
yes, so for me, reading, it's certainly in my early years and my primary
Fantastic.
years was huge.